It has become much more difficult for Ukrainians to defend themselves against the enemy. The AFU is repelling difficult attacks by huge columns of armored vehicles, by drones, by javelins, by Abramses, by Bradleys. Let's see how it all goes down. The town of Siversk, Bakhmut region. We see the defensive positions and the direction of the invaders' attack. 2 Russian tanks and 4 APCs with infantry begin the attack. The AFU open fire using artillery. One of the shells hits near the MTLBs. They were the main target. The main thing is to prevent the attackers from getting close to the trenches. The Russian APCs have been slowed down, but the tanks that pushed their way through are still moving. Maybe the comms were cut. A drone hits one of the lagging targets. Reinforcements are on their way down the other road. A T-72 from the first group hits a mine, but somehow manages to keep moving. Now they realize that it's too dangerous to go that way and turn into the field. The same tank is hit again. This time it's attacked by a drone. There's a hit, but again, no critical damage. The Ukrainian trenches are already very close. The first group is closing in, and the far group is firing. The tanks realize they have no infantry and retreat. This lack of coordination is fatal for them. Just as one of them begins to turn, an anti-tank missile does critical damage. A hit from artillery. This tin can is no longer a problem. At the same time, the Russian tank doesn't notice that the bridge was blown up and sinks into the mud. This shot shows how deplorable their situation is. The vehicles that were on their way as reinforcements became victims of the drones. And this little guy flew directly inside. This is the result of the Russian attack. The stuck tank is already on fire, like the rest of the occupiers' vehicles. But this is not the end. The conclusions were made, and the next day, a more brutal attack began. 5:30 in the morning, a large column moving in the same direction. The AFU were ready. With one of their first shots, the artillery damages the Russian APC. The tanks are the first to go. One of them hits a mine, but still continues to move. There's a hit from an ATGM. We can see that this time, the Russians are moving in a coordinated manner towards the AFU positions. A T-72 hits a mine. Javelins are being fired. A precision hit. The tank is critically damaged. The Ukrainians try to meet the column with ATGMs, but without success. Under the cover of the tanks, the Russians manage to land infantry. The APC that starts to retreat is blown up by a mine. And now, the trench battle begins. We will show uncensored footage of the battle in the next video for our sponsors. The Russians are getting reinforcements. The occupiers are shelling everything around them. One APC didn't make it. The others decide to extend the defense forces and land the infantry farther away. And then, it happened. After all, the Ukrainians were more prepared for this fight. The attack was successfully repulsed. Russian equipment is burning brightly all along the front line. This EMP tried very much to be hidden, but it was spotted by the HIMARS. The first shot, the second, the third. They'll have to hide it better next time. Another fat target. Fascinating accuracy. A Russian Zala UAV was operating nearby. It, too, was hit by the HIMARS. The Russians were hiding in this landing. A Bradley arrived to knock them out. But there was a surprise ahead. Look how good the Bushmaster cannon is. Two Russian APCs have been spotted not far from here. They had no idea what was waiting for them. A Bradley rides out to them. Shots fired from a TOW. The crew manages to escape, and 2 meat cans are left to be eaten by the American Beast. HIMARS and Bradleys are the best weapons in Ukraine. If you think so too, give this video a like. If you disagree, write in the comments why. At the same time, in Chasiv Yar, the Russians spent huge resources. Aircraft, MLRS, the city is being wiped off the face of the earth. But the Ukrainians managed to find and destroy several of these important targets. This is a Strela 10 SAM that's really messing up the AFU's life. Another SAM. This one's worth several $1 million. A precise hit. And this Masta C SPH exploded along with its ammunition. A powerful explosion. This one's worth about $2 million. The Pokrovsk region. A column of Russian equipment being led by a tank plans to ruin everything. A Ukrainian drone strike blinds the T-72, and it falls into a shell crater and doesn't let the others pass. The column then becomes a very easy target for the AFU artillery. Then, drones fly up and burn the remaining pieces of scrap metal. A column of Russian equipment is moving towards the city. An anti-tank missile hits the side of an APC. It loses control and stops. The first tank hits a mine, but still continues to move. Armored vehicles are approaching the industrial zone of the city. Panic and chaos ensue. The APC became the target of a Ukrainian ATGM. The Russians realize the operation has failed and begin to flee. A Frankenstein APC is hit by a mine. One group almost gets away, but the AFU couldn't let them go. A shot from a Javelin. A hit. Another one. Looks like they're not going home today. Next, the clearing of the building is underway. A few drones fly in, and then the structure is destroyed by Ukrainian artillery. A BMP is moving towards Ukrainian positions. The ATGM operator lets it pass forward to shoot it in the rear. A Russian APC and a tank were spotted in a neighboring road. The drone hits right into the engine of the Russian meat pot. The precise strike causes it to lose control. The tank continues on its way. First drone hit. Second. The crew escapes, but the tank could not be saved. The Donetsk region. Russian equipment is on its way to the assault. They come closer. An RPG was ready. The shot. A hit. The second one. Another tank was set up. A mine is tearing a hole in the bottom of this tank. Take a look at it from a different angle. This T-72 hits the first mine. As it turns around, it hits the second one. Another epic explosion. The fire gets to the ammo. Take another look. The turret launches about 15 meters high. An open field. The AFU is ready. Javelins work well in situations like this. It's a hit. Another one. The fields are covered with mines. Turtle tanks can't survive such protection. Then we see a picture of drones burning out the occupiers' vehicles. Such attacks are doomed to failure. The AFU tracked down a huge support column on the territory of the Russian Federation. Point-blank strikes to the head and tail of the column. The rest of the vehicles spread out as best they could, but this doesn't help them much. Ukrainian drone pilots track them down and burn them all to the ground. This operation was a major setback to the Russian command's plans. These two stranded Russian tanks were also preparing to head for the Ukrainian borders, but the AFU spots them just in time. The first artillery shell flies past, but it scares everyone who was there, and the tanks were left unprotected, which allowed the drone pilots to destroy them without resistance. On the Eastern Front, this convoy is trapped. Ukrainian artillery starts as soon as the enemy gets on the radar. Something slows down one of the tanks. It made the entire column an easy target. Within moments, it was spectacularly destroyed. The tank that broke through first is also burning brightly. Another explosion. A barrage of cluster shells. Take a look at what's left after this attack. Useless metal and ash. The Ukrainians smashed Russian armored vehicles near the region of Popasna. Take a look at how it happened. An APC hits a mine. A second one. A drone strike rips the turret off this tank. Hit right in the engine. That APC did not survive the encounter with a Bradley. And this one couldn't hide from a Javelin. And this is what's left of the Russian equipment in a few days. A tank with a mine flail isn't afraid of anything. Well, it should be. It hits a few mines and becomes incapacitated. Drones can be incredibly effective with decent skill, like this here. A precise strike, and we see an incredible fire show. Yet another example of unbelievable precision. A hit to the engine compartment, and the tank breaks down into molecules. Even a T-90 can't survive a good hit. A few drones take out the turret. Now, it's time to finish the job. And here, one little $500 drone blows this tank's turret clean off. Take a look at how spectacular it is again. And this tank couldn't get out of the funnel of their own bombs. The pilot directs the drone into the open hatch, and boom! Thanks for the gift. The Ukrainian defenders have earned such skill with huge effort. Let's support them by giving them a like and subscribing to this channel. Thank you for watching.